wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up.
Good morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados, good morning.
Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Morning to you.
Wake up, wake up, wake up indeed, and welcome to Wednesday. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today. Today is the 2nd of April, 2025. So good having you company. I'm Pearson Bowen, early in the morning, saying good morning to all of you. Hope you're up already having breakfast, or perhaps your first morning workout, or perhaps your glass of water, or whatever you're doing. So glad to have you company indeed. Thank you so much for logging in and logging on our streams on Facebook, YouTube, and on our website, cbc.bb. As always, thank you for your company. That's the space in which you can comment with us and comment among yourselves as well, but stay connected with the show indeed. Remember, share the show, tell others about us, bring them along as well every single morning, weekday, Monday to Friday. And if you know of something or someone whose story you think we need to tell on Mornin Barbados, then hey, look, email us. Email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And to all of you, I say thank you. Indeed, and good morning to you too as well. Patricia Ben, she's watching. She's saying good morning to the production crew, all 5 of them. Marcia Rock, good morning to you as well. Good morning indeed to all of you beautiful people, she says, of Barbados. She's wishing you all an amazing day today. We send it right back at you, Marcia Rock. Look at Sweet Ron's up early in the morning as well. She says, don't forget to get in some form of exercise to better manage yourselves indeed. To all of you, a wonderful Wellness Wednesday coming from Rhonda Hines Graham as well, and to all of you. And yes, today is Wellness Wednesday, and we'll be taking some time this morning to take a look at your wellness as well. We don't want you to miss that session coming up in just a little while. Now, let's get our day started with our riddle of the day. A chance for you to crack the brain open and to get it all flowing nicely indeed. But to also give me a call on 228-5562 or 228-5563. And your question today to riddle for me to give me a correct answer remains the one we asked yesterday, which was, you don't know me yet, but you always miss me when I'm gone. What am I? You do not know me yet, but you always miss me when I am gone. What am I? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Now today, as I'm wearing the blue, is World Autism Awareness Day. And so for the day, we encourage all of you, wherever you are, to wear your shades of blue. Now when I say shades, I'm not talking to the eyewear alone. I'm talking about colors in blue, your clothing, your articles, different things that you choose to wear blue. Show your support for those who are living with autism, because autism is also a very special condition, but it's one that doesn't make you in any way deficient. And so we want to share a little bit more about that in the show today. So, but wear your colors in blue, blue pants, blue shirts, blue socks, blue shoes, blue eyewear, blue earrings, blue, an article of blue indeed in your support of autism. So it's World Autism Awareness Day, and the theme for today is advancing neurodiversity and the UN Sustainable Development Goals. That's the theme for today. But I'm waiting for your answer to the question. You don't know me yet, but you always miss me when I'm gone. What am I? Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, Pearson.
Oh, that's good to hear. Wonderful indeed. Up early o'clock, no?
Yes, Pearson, Monica again.
Monica, feet on the ground, and Monica ready to go. Monica, come, tell me so I can tell you you're wrong. What's your answer?
Is it time?
Don't ask me questions,
time.
Monica. What is your
Time?
answer? Why do you think it's time?
Because when time go by, don't really miss it till it's gone.
You don't know me yet. That's the first part of the quiz, the riddle. And you think that means time.
Yeah. Yes.
But you always miss me when I'm gone, and you still think time.
Yes. When time go by, it go by so fast I miss it.
Uh-huh. So explain to me the first part if this is your answer. You don't know me yet. What do you mean? Are you still sticking to time? Why do you hold on to time?
I don't know the time. Sometimes I don't know the time, and then the time go by so fast I don't even know.
But you miss it. They miss the time when it's gone.
Yeah. I miss it when it gone.
Monica, you work this out yourself, or you? I don't. I'm trying to understand how you figure this out.
No, I say so. Sometimes it'll be here. You're doing something, and then you don't know the time go along so fast. You know, like ever really.
Where did the time go?
Yes.
But sometimes you say, "Where did the time go?" You don't miss it,
Yeah.
really. You just say, "Where did the time go?" My goodness, I
Yep.
can't believe it's already noon.
Yep.
And you just,
It gone.
you feel you miss it.
Yeah, I miss the time.
Okay. Well, Monica, girl, you missed the answer. You're right. Have a good morning, okay?
Thank
Yes,
you.
you're skinny, you teeth, as we hear people say. Have a good today indeed, Monica. Now, as I was saying to you, it's World Autism Awareness Day, and so today we want you to pay attention to what we're talking about today. It's a day that we pay attention to those with autism. I told you they're special people, and I don't mean special in a derogatory way at all, but that the fact that in their difference, there's a diversity that comes along with it, and you want to be able to understand what neurodiversity means, and I hope that we can have that answer before the end of the day. We'd also be meeting in just a moment the author of the book Autism Through Isabella's Eyes. Who is Isabella, and why is Isabella looking at autism, and what did she see? When we talk to the author, we'll get those answers to that question. We'll also today meet a parent of a child of autism, and we'll explore some of the strategies that they're using to be able to live with, manage, help the child to accentuate, well, to become their best selves indeed, because there are possibilities for them. Another Pride of Barbados awardee will join us in just a moment. We'll talk the journey, we'll talk what the recognition means, and it's a familiar face, a familiar name. We'll introduce that individual to you in just a little while. And because it's Wellness Wednesday today, we want to hear from the Barbados Reiki Association about Reiki. They're having an upcoming activity, and we want to look at those modalities of treatment for different ailments and how they can identify and offer solutions, those kinds of things. It's a situation you ought not to be afraid of, but we want to have that discussion with them in just a moment. And when we talk HR with Hermab, we want to revisit the subject of the unlifted method. Do you recall what that was or what that is? We will talk to Charles Jazzy Harper in just a little while about that as well. Perhaps play it again so that you are reminded of what the unlifted method is all about. So, since Monica got that right, I have another riddle for you. Here's the other riddle for you. And you know I'm coming like the Riddler in the morning, bright and early, with all sorts of options for you. So the other riddle says, what is the one thing everyone can agree is between heaven and earth? What is that one thing that everyone can agree is between heaven and earth? 228-5562 and 228-5563 are the numbers to call. What is that one thing that everyone can agree is between heaven and earth? 228-5562 or 228-5563. I'm not sure if your Bible knowledge helps you here. Perhaps it is your church knowledge. Perhaps it is your own experience. So what is that one thing that everyone can agree is between heaven and earth? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Also coming up today, we want to share with you a little bit of a look at what happened at Roots and Roast at the weekend. That was truly exciting, and I promise you today we will have that video for you. But we'll also today be connecting once again with those with autism. And remember, you shall wear blue today. Blue today in support of World Autism Awareness Day. And already, we are thanking you for your show of support. 9.5 minutes after 6 o'clock, back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Did you know that there is an acronym called PASS, which makes it very easy to use a fire extinguisher? P, which stands to pull the pin. A, which means aim at the base of the fire. S, squeeze the trigger. And another S, which means sweep from left to right. This allows you to effectively extinguish a fire.
Jesus Christ loves you, and greater love hath no man. Because of his love, he opens the way. He opens eyes, ears, and minds. Open your heart and experience General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and feel his love. Greater love.
Hi, I'm Fire Officer 295 Turden, First Vice President of the Barbados Fire Service Sports and Social Club.
Hi, I'm Fire Officer Colligan, Secretary of the Barbados Fire Service Sports and Social Club. The Barbados Fire Service is celebrating 70 years. Come celebrate with us. The club, we are hosting football, cricket, and road tennis. Hope to see you there.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely,
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Yes, the Ideas Forum has already gone, but we love the song so much we had to share it once again. As we continue in the parish of St. Thomas, recognizing those who, by the dint of their hard work and the self-sacrifice that they make sometimes so to help others around, have been recognized in the Pride of Barbados Award. I did tell you, the person I'm going to introduce to you now is a familiar name and a very familiar face. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Adrian Lorde. Dr. Lorde, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I am doing well. How do you do?
I'm great. I'm pleased. I'm overwhelmed right now.
And I'm so glad you're overwhelmed. We are for you as well, you know. To know that you are one who, from among the thousands who live in that parish, has been singled out for this award. What does it mean to you?
It means a lot. I've been giving back for a lot of years. I remember in 1978, you were a little boy at that time.
Of course I was.
Yes. In 1978, when the Amateur Athletic Association needed to raise funds, I came back from holiday in Jamaica and started doing that during my holiday period. 1979, there was Carifta Games in Jamaica, and that started my journey in sports medicine actually, because I was invited to be part of the team, not as an athlete, but as an official to help look after those young ones. And it just moved on from there. I recognize that where I came from, born in Bank Hall, raised in Christchurch, went to Christchurch Foundation School, and lived in St. Thomas for the last 35 years. But I recognize that it cost the government of Barbados money to educate me and make me who I am. Sacrifices were made by my parents, by my family, and I just want to give back. And that is what I've been doing all of my life. Back to the church, to the community, to, everywhere.
It's for love of country.
Yes.
But we see you as a medical practitioner. We know you and your work in sports medicine through the Anti-Doping Commission and the like. But who are you, Adrian? Who are you at the core of who you are? How would you describe yourself?
I'm a real Bajan. My mother emigrated to New York. My brother followed. My sister is in Canada. I stayed here. I wanted to contribute to Barbados, to serve Barbados in some way, and that's what I've been doing. Not only in Anti-Doping Commission, but as a medical doctor, I've been on Mornin Barbados, doctor on call for 10 straight years, every Wednesday morning. That was educating the public in medical issues. And as a result of that, I've been asked to contribute to the church, to the community. And then when COVID-19 came around, as you know, I had those family physicians on the front line. And that is what helped me to help the community of Barbados to save Barbados from that pandemic, from the effects of the pandemic. I was out there doing the vaccines, I was out there educating the public, not only on this program, but also in the banks, in the churches, in the schools, in St. Thomas, in the clubs. I advised the Anglican Diocese as their advisor during that period of time. My church, Church of Christ the King, Rocklandau, St. Michael, where we had to put certain things in place. The Ministry of Education, and all this was done voluntarily. Somebody asked me, so what did you get from this? I say, I got love, I got satisfaction. I felt that I was able to do something to help Barbados during that critical time. I watched the COVID virus literally moving from Wuhan, China, across the Atlantic to the USA to Barbados. March the 16th, 2000 is when we had our first confirmed case. And then it just went on like that. And I thought I had a role to play. And I was really honored when I was nominated for this Pride of Barbados award. As I said, the nomination was enough. I didn't need to get the award. Once I was nominated, I was recognized for what I've been doing.
So for you, it's been almost a voice in the wilderness, so to speak, because in COVID, yours was one of those voices breaking through all of the other narrative. But sometimes that can be lonely. Did it feel that way? And how did you deal with those other comments about what you were doing and saying?
Well, I was very careful in doing my research and making sure what I was saying was accurate. At the time, it was a developing story, so we had to change as time went on. My colleagues were listening as well, and I was very careful that I didn't overstep my boundaries. I'm a family physician, I'm not a microbiologist, and therefore, or virologist, but I read widely, and I do that all the time, because medicine has changed over the last 43 years since I've become a doctor. And things have changed, and I think this is what the public must understand. There's information and there's misinformation. There was a lot of misinformation and lack of information during that pandemic. And I thought that I had a role to be the family physician on the front line, to let people know what's going on and what they should do and what they shouldn't do as times change.
Again, self-sacrificial, because you too were living this new experience for the rest of the world.
Yes.
And so you had to protect self in order to protect others as well. But you continue nonetheless breaking through and contributing not just to Barbados but to St. Thomas in significant ways. Talk to me about what it means to you to live in St. Thomas and to be able to work in the community that you occupy.
Yeah, it means a lot to live in St. Thomas. As I said, 35 years I've been there. Right. May 1st will be 35 years. It's April now, so in another couple of days, 35 years. And also to contribute to even my neighborhood, first, in neighborhood watch scheme. We meet and talk, and I friends with most of the people, I mean, some change and so on in the neighborhood. And then in the society of St. Thomas generally, and then within Barbados. We have a lot of chronic non-communicable diseases in Barbados, and that is contributing a lot to ill health in Barbados. The dementia that we're seeing, the strokes, the heart attacks, the diabetes, cancer, and therefore people need to understand what they're reading and what they are seeing, or what they're being told, because there are a lot of old wives' tales, there are a lot of things that we would have been brought up told this is the way to do things. And now science has informed us otherwise. So within our community, I've been out there doing things silently. You know, you don't need the cameras every time. CBC cameras can't go everywhere, but you don't need the cameras. But people would hear of things. I mean, as a result of that award on Monday, I got an email yesterday wanted me to speak across the Caribbean to a major organization on wellness. So I've been a wellness advocate. I've been out there. They run Barbados marathons from start. I even competed in the Run Barbados 5K 2 years ago.
Yes.
I won categories in some of the 5Ks that they had. recently. So I've been practicing what I preach, right? I go to the doctor, I get my checks, my colonoscopies, I get my blood tests. Everything that I preach, I practice.
You practice.
So I try to get out there and educate persons and lead by example.
When Adrian puts down his medical hat, and you're just Adrian Lorde now,
Right.
what do you like to eat, and what music do you like to listen to?
Okay, I eat healthy things, okay? So for breakfast, okay, I'm gonna have cereal, be it oats or be it granola cereal. I'm gonna have my banana, I'm gonna have my apple, and I have my cup of tea.
Oh, good. I was waiting for that part.
Yeah,
Cup of tea.
and the tea is a herbal tea.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna take that and nothing sweet. A few years, 2 years ago, I think I issued to my church no sugar Lent. But this year I said, you know, when people leave out sugar, what are they going to add in, or what can happen when it's finished? So I right now every other Saturday for my church, I encourage the church to go walking. So we go walking at 5:30 every other Saturday morning. We'll do it again this Saturday morning, starting at Christ Parish Church. So Adrian, when you take off the medical hat, or take off the anti-doping hat,
Yes.
or take off the BOA hat, or take off all these other hats.
Yes.
I eat healthy. I exercise regularly. I was in the gym yesterday morning at 5, and the only reason I wasn't there this morning is because I'm
You
here.
have this to do.
Yeah. So I've started jogging as a result of the pandemic, actually. I started to walk. I always used to walk, but I started to walk a little faster and start jogging and start running. So that's why I got involved in the 5Ks and so on.
Right.
And I feel good. I was never an athlete at school, but those athletes at school can't catch me now. You know, I'm fitter than all those guys that used to run
You
at
look
the
it
stadium. No, I'm serious. Yeah.
So the music you listen to?
Oh, music. I like reggae. I studied in Jamaica,
Yeah.
so I like a lot of the reggae artists. I was fortunate to see Bob Marley live.
Nice.
Third World, whenever they come here, but I saw them in Jamaica. But a lot of the other artists while I was there, and then I like relaxing music.
What do you call relaxing music?
Jazz.
Jazz.
Jazz, yeah. Yeah.
No opera or any of that nature?
Not really.
Classical?
I turn off the radio.
Make it sport.
I change the station.
That's where that's you. But also central to what is you, Adrian Lorde, is your church.
Yes.
And your contribution to the church, or through the church as well. Where's this sound faith come from?
I think for my mother, I went to Sunday school, and I hear talks about getting people back to Sunday school. I grew up, as I said, I was born in Bank Hall Main Road, near the corner there by Richmond Court. So I nearly burned down the house. But it was only the bed. I didn't get past the bed.
Yes.
So I was a little wicked fella at first. But yeah. So St. Michael's Cathedral, I was Anglican, the girl Anglican. And then I moved to St. Lawrence Church, and now I'm Christ King. This is where my business is, so I'm involved in the church. I'm on the church council. I'm now the alternate state rep, multimedia. So I do some of this
nice
photography. As a result of the pandemic, we are now streaming. So I involved in that, and then I'm a Eucharistic minister as well. So I serve at the altar most Sundays, and I feel a sense of belonging, and I am there on a mission. For the first time on Sunday, actually, I conducted a Sunday school class. And it just came to me that I was just moved to do it. And the person who was doing it was not present, and I just felt moved to do it. And I went to the priest during the service for a blessing, and then afterwards, I conducted the Sunday school. And I never thought I could do that.
And now you know oh boy, here we go.
By not going to college, no college.
It's a consideration. You brought along some of the insignia that you've received over the years. Let's talk through a little bit of it. The one at my far, if we could start with the one that has the colors of Barbados on it. Which one is this?
That was the humanitarian medals that we got for the work that we did during COVID-19. The education, the immunization. I went out there to do the vaccines, and then I did a lot of counseling of persons. So that was the humanitarian award.
But if you read the inscription right there, by appointment to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, medalist, Worcester Medal Service Limited. And so for you, this is your work in COVID.
Yeah, yes.
Your national recognition there indeed.
Yes.
And how did that feel when you were identified
was,
with national
yes,
recognition?
that was, as you said, there was a lot of back and forth, and people attacked me for what I was doing, but I was recognized as well as with all the other volunteers at that big ceremony down at Kensington Oval. So I felt good. I think to be there.
All Barbadians really applauded you as well, because again, yours was that voice that stuck out, and so people listened to you. And then the one in the center is the one you just recently got.
Yes, that means the most to me.
Yeah,
that's my community of Christ, of St. Thomas. I know you said Christ the King.
Yes.
My community of St. Thomas, really, and that on Monday at State House. First time I'm going to State House. I went to Government House before, but this is a different place, State House. And to be there with Sister Margarita Marshall and the other awardees of the parish, that really felt good, and I felt that, yes, somebody has been listening and seeing what I've been doing. So that is the Pride of Barbados Award that I got.
So when you stop for a moment and reflect on that moment, though, here it is. We're watching as the President of Barbados, the Most Honourable Dame Sandra Mason, pins you. And standing among these other stalwarts from your parish, looking back at that moment now, what was going through your mind with that smile on your face?
No, I was happy. I was pleased. I was overwhelmed. I felt that I have been doing something good for the community of St. Thomas and Barbados. I mean, the other award here, the Officer of the Order of British Empire, was given to my recognition for my advocacy in sports medicine throughout the world, really, because, I've been working not only here in Barbados, throughout the Caribbean. I do anti-doping and other education for the Caribbean, the Carifta Games, Central American Caribbean Games, Pan American Games. I've worked with the Barbados Olympic Association. I've gone to 6 Olympics, not as an athlete. As I said, I was not an athlete at school, so I had to find a way to get in the gates, So that one, that was in 2014, I think it is, Queen Elizabeth. Had the option of going to Buckingham Palace, but I went to Government House. I am a Barbadian.
You're Barbadian
I didn't need to
to
go
the core.
to the place down there. But so it is a continuation of what I feel, and I feel that more of us need to give time, your talent and treasures to help our little country continue to rise and maintain that level.
I had another question for you, but that was such a powerful comment that you just made. I don't want to interrupt in people's minds. If more of us should contribute to the development of Barbados, what a place this shall be. But I will still ask it. We set ourselves goals. We want to achieve this, we want to try that, those kinds of things. Have you done that for yourself? And if so, what have you set as goals or different things you'd want to tackle?
I don't know if I have had really goals. I just do things as the moment comes. I have a thing, I never say no. And if somebody asks me who built the ark, I'd be in trouble. I never say, I have difficulty in saying no. I also volunteer to teach the medical students. Because I want the doctors coming up to be of the standard that they need to be. So I spend time, over the weekend, 5 medical students said they wanted to come and work with me because they heard about what I do in my office. I can't accommodate 5 medical students. So I had difficulty in saying no to them. And they're final years, so I said, well, I need to get in there and help them. So I can't say no. That's a difficulty that I have. So my problem, that's my biggest weakness. But as far as goals, I just want to continue to contribute.
So powerful indeed. Dr. Adrian Lorde, we commend you. Barbados recognizes you. Congratulations. Our commenters on social media saying congratulations to you on all of your awards. You deserve them. That's from very Anti-Faith says, Dr. Lorde, keep up the good work in the church, and congratulations to you. And more comments, like they're all rolling through. Patricia Ben, she's overseas, says congratulations to you, Dr. Adrian Lorde, on receiving your awards. Plural indeed. So Barbados recognizes you. We also on Morning Barbados recognize you. We at the CBC thank you for your contribution, not just to the work of Barbados, but to what we do, because we want to be conduits of information as well. And so you've been able to be working alongside us all the time to do so.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Just one comment coming up. On June the 28th, the Anglican Diocese is coming to the end of the 200th anniversary. And I approached the bishop. We're going to have a health extravaganza as part of a regathering in St. George on that playing field in front of the school, in front of the church. Everybody's invited.
Oh, nice. 28th.
28th of June. Yeah, and we'll come back and talk about it later.
You bet we shall. Thank you, Dr. Adrian Lorde. All the best in it.
Okay,
and
thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We're coming right back with more on Morning Barbados in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one else will know you called. They're there to offer a caring ear and guidance without judgment. And fellas, I want you to know asking for help is a true sign of strength. It takes real courage to reach out. You can also call Lifeline Barbados if you're worried about loved ones who are struggling and you need advice on how to support them. There's a saying, a problem shared is a problem halved, but not everyone has someone they can confide in. That's why Lifeline Barbados exists, to be there for you or someone you care about during tough times. Save this number. Lifeline Barbados is just a call away. Remember, you can reach out whenever you need to talk.
Did you know that there is an acronym called PASS, which makes it very easy to use a fire extinguisher?
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're 27 minutes to go to 7 o'clock now as we continue our focus on World Autism Awareness Day. As a matter of fact, I want to introduce you now to a Barbadian who lives in Canada. She and her husband Davidson and her daughter Dominique are facing autism through the experience and the lived reality of their son Malachi. So they've compiled a book which I think is interesting to see. And so we're happy to have with us, joining us this morning, Miss Tamisha Cox. Tamisha, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Barbados.
Good to see you indeed. There you are in Canada, and I'm thanking you for wearing your blue today as World Autism Awareness Day. The color is blue. So I want to hear from you, first of all, being the mother of an autistic child. When did you find this out, and what did it mean to you?
So finding out my son was autistic, it was pretty difficult because we were in a pandemic. So one of the autism traits are like lack of social communication, a lack of social interaction. But during a pandemic, there was no social interaction. But what I realized is that he had self-soothing behaviors. Like he would love really tight hugs. He would eat only bland food. He had a speech delay. He was 18 months. But he was still, around that age that, kids would start to say words, but he didn't have any words at that time. And one of the main things is that he didn't like pretend play, which was a big thing for the speech therapist. So in the pretend play, this is where kids would play with a doll or play with a car. He didn't like that. So that's how I find out basically that something was not right.
And so you had to get confirmation on your feelings, and the confirmation came back saying your child is on the autism spectrum. And what happened to you immediately on hearing that?
Yeah, I guess I went into the full shock. Like, I didn't understand what autism was. I didn't know what autism was. I didn't know anyone directly who was impacted by autism. So upon hearing, I went into full research mode where I researched what autism was, how kids develop autism. I enrolled him in speech therapy. He was 18 months old. I enrolled him into speech therapy, and I just wanted to. I actually did a course, more than words, is just to guide you on how to deal with a kid who has a speech delay. So basically, that is what I did to just dive right into really what autism is about.
And so, but became a family matter you had to address. So husband Davidson, daughter Dominic had to get involved because they too were living with this young boy, Malachi, who was behaving differently. And so what are some of the things that your daughter Dominique had to come to reality with?
Yeah, Dominic is very mature for her age. She's 8 years old, but she's very mature, and she's such a bright spark in the house. And what she had to come to realize, like in my book mentioned, she wants to play with him all the time. And sometimes Malachi prefers to play alone. He prefers to play in a corner by himself, and that's fine. So we're just trying to explain to her when I wrote the book, I was trying to explain to her what autism is. And I honestly couldn't find that language basically on what autism was, but Dominique was so understanding when I tried to explain it to her. And with my husband, everyone is just so supportive, and she gives Malachi his space, and she actually pushes him to the next level as well. So I believe that like it was meant to be that she's the oldest and she's pushing him into development.
So Dominic is 8. How old is Malachi now?
Malachi is 6 years old now.
Okay. And so you've written the book, Autism Through Isabella's Eyes. And Isabella now is the name you've given to your daughter, Dominique, and so...
Yes.
When people pick up the book when we take up the book to turn the pages, what are we seeing in that book?
Yeah, so Isabel, Isabel is actually Dominique's middle name. And Miguel, who is actually featured in the book, his name is Miguel as well. So I wanted to make it very personal. So when persons pick up the book, they will see autism through not only a sister's or sibling eyes, but also through how to be a classmate, a friend, a teacher. So persons would actually see activities with someone who is on the autism spectrum, like shared activities, like let's say, for example, like he loves to play with her blocks. Malachi doesn't. How to merge that and bridge the gap, basically, on how they can play with those bricks or with those toys. And person will see how to be connected together, how to engage, how to actually be autism, and how to basically be an advocate for autism as well.
And so the book teaches a degree of sensitivity and awareness so that people because people with autism they're not different in any other way. They just have certain deficits that can be addressed. How are you dealing with those deficits though as a mother so that your child has the best chance at life?
Yeah. By being very observant and to trust my instincts, I would say. So for example, Malachi loves like tight him a weighted blanket. What a weighted blanket is a blanket that is 50 pounds, but you have to buy one that really matches weight. So the weighted blanket really gives him that closeness. And I am a very observant person generally, so I will say hand down. So what we have done, we've enrolled him in a trampoline therapy, which actually helps him to release that tension because he loves. So just being observant, I just have to be observant every single day to see exactly what he likes, what he doesn't like, and I will move towards the things that he really loves and he really enjoys.
But then, because of their social skills, you know, you have to
Yes.
bear it. You are a mother. The family has to carry this. And
Yes.
so when he chooses to be a bit distant, and some people don't quite understand, or you want to do something, and you know, he says, no, mommy, you can't, because I want you
No,
to.
no.
How do you manage your time yourself in managing this young man with autism?
Yeah, so what I do, I let him have his time by himself because he needs a couple hours of time by himself every day.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't get that, he then, he then does things that he doesn't, he does things like cry or he asks for shit. So what I do, I give him his time, and he loves to just look outside by the window. So I ensure that the window is always open and he can see light and he can see outside.
Yes.
And what I've done, I've like come down to his level where I go by the window and I say, hi, Malachi, what are we seeing? Are we looking at trees? Are we looking at birds? So I just try to engage him, even though the first speech therapist I had, she was telling me to get to his level of if he's outside and if he likes to look outside, I should say, just go next to him and say, oh, what do you see outside? Is that a bird? Is that a train? Sometimes it's for him, and I pick up those cues and I just move away and I try again in different increments, I would say.
You just meet him where he is in his moments, and that's going to be very, very so important indeed. So in the book, Autism Through Isabel's Eyes, I'm sure you're teaching all of that as well, so that when children turn the pages, because children sometimes can be very difficult and very, very difficult, critical, and so you want to build that sensitivity in the child to engage with, but also respect. When the child with autism says, I don't want to, I just want to be by myself, and to be able to understand what that means so that you can both have a wonderful experience, and it's possible. And so this year, as we all stand in recognition of World Autism Awareness Day, you're a leading example. So for those who want to get the copy of the book, looking at autism through Isabel's eyes, how can we do so?
Yes, so the books are available on Amazon and West and Amazon Canada, and also it's available on Cloisters bookstore in Bridgetown. So persons can go there and they should be able to get a book in Cloisters.
Oh, that is good to know it's already available in Barbados. We could go into the store here and walk in and pick up the copy off the shelf. Autism Through Isabel's Eyes is produced and written by Tamisha Cox. She's a mother living with a child who is autistic. His name is Malachi. Isabel is Dominique's middle name, and so Dominique, her daughter, who's 8 years old, has found coping mechanisms, ways to engage her younger brother and to have that connection with him. And the father, Davidson, does the same. And so we want you to get a copy of the book today to see how, as a parent or as a child, you can manage your encounter with your child of autism, and not only your child, but children in your area as well, who are no different from you or me. They just want to live in the way, and we have to be respectful of that. And so this month, as we spend the whole month of April looking at World Autism, we want for you to be equally sensitive. So Tamisha Cox, thank you. Thank you for being the way you are as a mother, for having the daughter who wants to be able to share with her brother in a very meaningful ways, have that real connection with him, and to be able to tell the story through her eyes. I really thank you so much.
Yes.
You're welcome. You're very welcome.
For having me, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Morning Barbados takes a break here. We're coming back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Did you know that there is an acronym called PASS, which makes it very easy to use a fire extinguisher? P, which stands for pull the pin. A, which means aim at the base of the fire. S, squeeze the trigger. And another S, which means sweep from left to right. This allows you to effectively extinguish a fire.
Jesus Christ loves you, and greater love hath no man. Because of his love, he opens the way. He opens eyes, ears, and minds. Open your heart and experience General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and feel his love. Greater love.
Hi, I'm Fire Officer 295 Turden, First Vice President of the Barbados Fire Service Sports and Social Club.
Hi, I'm Fire Officer Colligan, Secretary of the Barbados Fire Service Sports and Social Club. The Barbados Fire Service is celebrating 70 years. Come celebrate with us. The club, we are hosting football, cricket, and road tennis. Hope to see you there.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely, and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one else will know you called. They're there to offer a caring ear and guidance without judgment. And fellas, I want you to know asking for help is a true sign of strength. It takes real courage to reach out. You can also call Lifeline Barbados if you're worried about loved ones who are struggling and you need advice on how to support them. There's a saying, a problem shared is a problem halved, but not everyone has someone they can confide in. That's why Lifeline Barbados exists, to be there for you or someone you care about during tough times. Save this number. Lifeline Barbados is just a call away. Remember, you can reach out whenever you need to talk.
Did you know that there is an acronym called PASS which makes it very easy to use a fire extinguisher? P, which stands for pull the pin. A, which means aim at the base of the fire. S, squeeze the trigger. And another S, which means sweep from left to right. This allows you to effectively extinguish a fire.
Jesus Christ loves you, and greater love hath no man. Because of his love, he opens the way. He opens eyes, ears, and minds. Open your heart and experience General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and feel his love. Greater love.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
11 minutes now to go to 7 o'clock. We continue our journey through education and awareness, as today is World Autism Awareness Day. And we want to encourage you wherever you are, as you get ready for work, as you get ready for school, as you get ready for all of your activities today, to wear the shades of blue. I'm wearing a blue shirt. I know it might not look that way to you. I know yesterday I wore my blue shirt as well. But look, in my tie, there are other shades of blue because shades of blue. So we want you today to wear blue in all of their shades to show your support of autism and people who are living with autism and the parents who are managing their own experiences too with a child who might be autistic as well. And remember, I keep saying to you, they're no different from you or me. They need your attention, they need your love, they need your support, but that comes through understanding. And so today we're hoping that we're sharing with you elements and stories that help you reach that point of understanding. So wear blue today in support of World Autism Awareness Day. and I thank you already for doing so. Well, joining me today as we continue that journey through the exploring of knowledge and experiences and what's possible when you look at therapeutic options as well is Nadia Simmons. She's the Public Relations Officer of the Autism Association of Barbados. She's also a mother of a child who's autistic. And Sue Macmillan, who's a speech language pathologist as well. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Thank you again for wearing your blue. We see, yes, Sue, we see your blue hearts right there. You see, they're showing up. Because you have a big heart for children who are autistic, don't you?
I sure do.
And that's so important. And because I was sharing with them a story off the air, which I shall not share with you because it was our conversation. They are no different from you or me. They have the same capacity to love and to appreciate and to experience everything. We just need to know how to manage ourselves in that experience. So talk to me a little bit as PRO of the Autism Association of Barbados and as a mother of an autistic child, your experience.
So my son is 7 years old. His name is Aiden. He is the most amazing boy in the world.
Yes.
He is nonverbal. So that has its own challenges. We are going through intensive therapy since he was maybe 2.5. Speech therapy, occupational therapy, behavioral therapy, and sports therapy. And he is doing really well with those supports. But I want to emphasize that it is a very expensive thing to get a diagnosis of autism with a child. So we have to consider that more and have policies in place to accommodate parents being able to afford the therapies that they need.
I wish you could talk to those who can make the difference loudly enough.
We're trying to. We're trying to.
So that's good to know. The Autism Association of Barbados is advocating strongly for support, real support at that level so that you can live a life that is affordable to you as well. Did you feel at any time it was my fault?
I did. When you get that diagnosis, you just want to know why, how is it my fault, where did it come from, what happened, what went wrong. But with research, you realize it's not your fault. I don't think we fully understand what causes it yet, but it's no one thing, I don't think. And so I that took some time to realize, but yeah, but you snapped into action right away, as mothers tend to do. you said, I got to get this sorted out for my son because this is my child, and I want my child to live the longest, best life possible. Yes, I will be honest with you. When my child went to see his doctor when he was at 18 months, I suspect something was off. And the doctor told me, "Oh, wait till he's 2 and come back and see." I wish he didn't do that. Early intervention is key, and I wish then he said, go start speech therapy now, because that's what we advocate for worldwide. If you see something, do something. And that is critical. So if you have suspicions, it may be hard to accept it and you may want to deny it, but it doesn't hurt to start early. That's the best thing you can do. If it doesn't turn out to be, fine, but any therapies that you can get into early will give you the best chance for making them their best selves. And my son he's come such a long way. I never would have thought the child I had when I was 2 would be who he is at 7. He is absolutely amazing.
And that's good because you intervened relatively early.
Yes.
And so there's a spectrum on which they're measured. So talk to me a little bit about that, and where on the spectrum is your son?
He would be on, they have levels. He would be a level 3. He is nonverbal. He needs full support in everything he does. So he's nonverbal, but he can't tell me what he wants. He pulls me places, or he points at things, or he brings things to me. So he's able to communicate, but not verbally. He is working on it. He's doing very well. He can say go and no and oh, and that's a step that I'm very proud of. But he needs high support, and he likely will need for the rest of his life.
And so you reached out for speech therapy, you said, and so he's now saying no, yes, go, and oh.
Yes.
Oh, the O sounds.
Yes.
No, oh.
And E. I forgot about E.
Oh, he's working on the vowels. He's working on the vowels. That's fantastic.
Yes.
So there is tremendous process. And I love the fact you could laugh in the way that you did, because there was a time when you couldn't laugh in that way.
It has been a true journey, and I'm very thankful for the support that I got during that time, and it really made all the difference.
All the difference. A part of that difference is the work of Sue Macmillan. Sue, as a speech language pathologist, what is it that you do so that that child can be verbal or at least in some way communicative?
Oh gosh, where to start? Well, the first thing that I do when a child comes to me or when I go to them is I look at how is that child communicating with their parent. Or with their grandparent or whomever that primary communicative partner is. And sometimes children come and it appears they're not communicating, but there can be very subtle ways of communicating that are intentional, but unless you understand autism, you wouldn't know that it was intentional. So an example of that would be a child coming, taking your hand but not acknowledging you, as if just taking you as if you're a tool, taking your hand and pulling you over here, but never acknowledging you.
Yeah.
And so the first step then is to help that child to begin to send intentional messages to a partner. So guiding them to recognize that through guiding their parent or their communication partner to scaffold for them, to be supportive and really literally getting into their face in a gentle way, and have them start to recognize, oh, so when I send a message directly to you, good things happen for me.
Yes.
I get what I need, I get what I want. And that's the initial step, is looking at how much, how is the child communicating, how much, and then that's where we establish the goals of where we need to go. And the early stages of intervention are a lot about parent training, so educating parents, coaching parents, empowering them with strategies that they can use on a day-to-day basis. And every time I work with a family, when they come in the room, the first thing I do is watch them interact with their child. And I tell them, you are the expert in your child. I have two university degrees that give me a certain set of skills, and I have 30 years of experience in the field. So I have a lot of knowledge I can share with you, but you're the expert in your child.
And it's important for the parent to recognize that.
Absolutely.
As quickly as possible.
Yes.
And not to feel, oh, I've just dropped my child off at you, fix it.
Absolutely. And so going through, fortunately, when I entered graduate school in 1992, that medical model of speech language therapy had already started to shift in North America, at least. I'm not sure if it's shifted. I think it's still shifting here based on what families tell me. But fortunately, people were already expecting that they were going to be in the room. Interestingly enough, I have parents who have immigrated to Canada from other countries, and it's often quite surprising for them when I say, oh no, mommy or daddy or gran, you're coming into the room and we're all in this together. I'm giving you the tools because you're only with me 1 or 2 hours a week, and you have 24 hours a day to be with this little person.
So that's important. But it is possible to help the child with their speech language.
Yes, very possible. And so,
but if I can interrupt for just a second.
Absolutely.
But in saying that, as you've just described to me, it might not necessarily be verbal in the way that we are accustomed.
Yes.
No, there you go. You can finish now.
Yes. Thank you for saying that and
welcome.
for recognizing that. Yes, it can be. If you think of all the ways we communicate, so right now you're nodding your head, you're raising your eyebrows, those are all nonverbal forms of communication. We gesture all the time. If you tied my hands under my legs, I wouldn't be able to do this interview. So we communicate in many, many ways. And so, and Nadia, maybe after I talk a little bit about AAC, you can talk about your son. But so with a child who is non-speaking, we try to get them going as soon as possible with what's called augmentative and alternative communication, or AAC. And that can be low tech, meaning they communicate, we teach them to use just pictures to communicate, or it can be technology based. There are a lot of different apps that you can use for communication. There are standalone communication devices that can be prescribed. So there are lots of different options. It's not something that a child, you just give them an app and they figure it out.
Yes.
It's a long journey. It can, and I always remind other clinicians and families, it's like your child learning to talk in the same way that a non-autistic child. If you think about how long it takes them to learn to talk, it takes them from 2 until 6 years of age to be speaking in sentences. And so for a child, when you're giving them an augmentative device, it's going to take 5 to 7 years for them to be speaking in sentences. But if they can communicate to you and say, head hurt, or want juice, or just juice, and you can interpret that as a request, you're off to the races.
I'm telling you. And so now it is over to you now. Your experience using this device and this technique.
So we began using PECs with my son, basically pictures of what he wants. And he can do a sentence, I want water, I want, and he picks up each one, the I, the want, and the whatever. And now he's on to it's an iPad with an app called Touch Chat. And he's learning, he can say red car and blue whatever, and that is everything. That little bit, to an average parent with a neurotypical child, that is nothing, but that is everything for a parent to see that child speak to you, and that's everything.
Nadia, I feel you in ways you can't begin to imagine, because I could, and I'm shivering right now, stuttering for words, because I feel that movement forward for you. That great shift. Now you can have a conversation with your son, you know, and your son can have that conversation with you. And while it might not be verbal words necessarily, he can still talk to you.
It's just enough.
And so it's possible. So folks of you with parents of children with autism, there's speech therapy. And therapy does not mean that he has to necessarily sound his words out, but there are other methods as well. And so don't sit for just a moment and think that your child is lost or the opportunities are lost for your child. You know, there aren't really. Speech therapy is absolutely critical. And I know you're continuing your advocacy from the Autism Association of Barbados, and you're having an event coming up, some activities.
Lots of events.
Yes.
So today, obviously, is World Autism Awareness Day, and we're asking everybody to wear blue. But this evening, this weekend, we painted the road humps blue at Sheraton.
Nice.
And they're also illuminating Sheraton blue for autism awareness. So is Lime Grove. But tonight we're having a short ceremony by Parliament Building, and they will be lit up blue.
Right, at 5:30, because it's on your screen, folks. So follow along with us. Follow along with us.
Yes, please. And then on April 5th, we will be having awareness tables selling these shirts and other trinkets, other merch, key rings, pins, other things just to support, raise funds for the association at Sheraton Mall and Sky Mall.
I look for me. I'm coming through.
Perfect.
That's on the 5th. I shall. I'm giving my full support.
Perfect. And then on April, we're doing that again on April 26th. We also have a walk, which will be on April 28th, beginning at 7 a.m. Want to purchase a shirt? You're free to come. And that begins at 7 a.m., starting from the National Disabilities Unit. And after the walk, we will be having a special cultural cardio session with Spinny. So once you purchase a shirt, $35 for adults, $25 for kids. You can get them from the awareness tables, or just send us a message on Instagram, Autism in Barbados. And once you have a shirt, you're free to join the walk and do the session with Spinny.
Love it. And you have some parenting workshops as well.
Yes, we do have a parent workshop on the 13th. And that's with Natasha Heselgrave, our only behavioral therapist on the island. It is managing behaviors is something that most parents want, but with only having one behavioral therapist, she's in high demand. So this is a great opportunity to come out and get some tips and tricks from her about how to manage the behaviors.
I'm looking at you as I listen to you. I see your pin, I see your earrings as well.
Yes.
And I know as we were having that conversation before we came on, you know, I shared with you one of my experiences with a child who I did not know was autistic. And sometimes because you cannot look and see, it's not a physical deformity of any form. I had the encounter where I wasn't where I shouldn't touch.
Yeah.
And so the response to the touch was a lash.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? You know, and so that's sensitivity again. Now that I know I shall not again, but I shouldn't jump to those assumptions.
Yeah.
And so I know you have some lanyards that you talk about.
Yes, we have a new campaign, the sunflower lanyards. So when you see someone out wearing a sunflower lanyard, it's known internationally, mainly in airports, but we're bringing it here just so, because Bajans don't really understand when they see someone having a meltdown or just rocking back and forth or flapping their hands or making repetitive noises. They don't understand what's going on. If you see this identifies someone with a hidden disability, probably autism, and be more understanding. If they need space, give them space. If you see a parent struggling, you can ask, how can I help? They may say, you can't, but thanks for asking, and just keep it moving. We need to we as parents find it hard to go out in public because we fear the meltdown, we fear being judged.
Yes.
And this could happen to any one of us.
Right.
Your grandson, your child could be autistic, and being understanding now and teaching your children to be understanding is important because it could be any one of us, and the worlds we create today can affect us in the future. So the sunflower lanyards, if you see someone wearing one, just be a little bit patient. Don't touch them unless they ask to be touched or ask for help, and just give them a little bit of time to do what they're doing.
Nadia, that's beautiful. That's the point at which I have to end right now. Nadia Simmons, Public Relations Officer with the Autism Association of Barbados. She brought along with her today Sue McMillan, who is a speech language pathologist. She can make a real difference to you indeed and your experience with your child. Thank you, ladies. I wish you the very best.
Thank you so
Always.
much.
Continue the great work.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We're coming back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one else will know you called. They're there to offer a caring ear and guidance without judgment. And fellas, I want you to know asking for help is a true sign of strength. It takes real courage to reach out. You can also call Lifeline Barbados if you're worried about loved ones who are struggling and you need advice on how to support them. There's a saying, a problem shared is a problem halved, but not everyone has someone they can confide in. That's why Lifeline Barbados exists, to be there for you or someone you care about during tough times. Save this number. Lifeline Barbados is just
morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 7 minutes heading to 8 minutes after 8 o'clock. 7 o'clock, let's take a look at some news now. Some major challenges facing Barbados and the Caribbean could be resolved by Afrexim Bank. It is working to lower transaction costs for inter-regional trade while also reducing the region's dependence on the US dollar. Krista Hoyt tells us more.
Afrexim Bank, in partnership with CARICOM Central Banks, is working on a cross-border payment system to reduce the region's reliance on the US dollar and preserve international reserves. Acting Chief Operating Officer of Afrexim Bank's CARICOM office, Okechukwu Ihaijerika, outlines the challenge.
I know it's difficult going from Barbados, for instance, to Trinidad, that you can go in there and buy goods with Barbados dollars and pay, and the person who is selling in Trinidad, for instance, is getting TT dollars. Is practically impossible as we speak. That's one of the challenges.
He says that Africa has already successfully tackled this issue, and the Caribbean is now looking to replicate that model.
The Caribbean Payment and Settlement System, which is now aligned to the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System. And what this will do will be to help create a platform that somebody can buy goods in Bahamas and pay in Bahamian dollars. And the person who is selling the goods in Guyana receives Guyanese dollars. And that emphasizes the current focus of USD as the only currency of trade within the region.
The chief operating officer notes that given the challenges of accessing US dollars, solutions like this are not only welcomed, but essential. Crystal Hoyt, CBC News.
Member of Parliament for St. Thomas Cynthia Ford says there are too many complaints regarding the transport augmentation program that integrates privately owned vehicles with the Transport Board into public transportation system. She says seniors are being left at bus stops along with children. Ms. Ford called attention to the acts during the Ideas Forum held at the Leicester Vaughan School.
These young children and these adults are being left on the road, even when they're going to the polyclinic, they're going to the doctor, they're going to do a little shopping. The TAP programs most of them do not stop to pick up the seniors nor the school children, and they leave them languishing on the street. And the other one is the worst one that I've dealt with, where 2 weeks ago there was a little girl sitting in the back seat and the vehicle was full. And the person stopped at the bus stop to pick up somebody who had the 350 and told the child, stand up and let the man sit down. You sit in his lap. I'm sorry, it wasn't my grandchildren. And that little girl said, no, I can't sit in his lap. He said, get out. And that little girl was dumped on the street coming up by the psychiatric hospital, Black Rock, to allow an adult to get. And then, well, the government is taking too long to pay me, so we can't take it. The children because we ain't getting money. There has been an agreement.
Government Senator Gregory Nichols is taking a firm stance that the island's caves, rivers and springs should not be privately owned. Mr. Nichols says these features of the island's physical landscape are too important for livelihood and generations to come. He gave his view at that forum.
So that we need to start looking at ways in which we create these as a zone within the National Heritage Park. And I want to see the Ministry of the Environment and the powers that be start treating the National Heritage Park in Barbados much more seriously, so that somebody can't come and say, well, I bought the land where this river or this spring is, and exclude the residents and other people from accessing them. These are things that are very, very critical for our environment and for our livelihood. Pori Spring is another area that can be developed.
Senator Nichols says it is time for the implementation of legislative framework to manage earthly formations of the environment, including caves, springs and gullies.
We have the Caves Act, but the Caves Act doesn't go far enough, in my view, to define what is a cave. We don't have legislation defining the gullies in a particular way. Now, the reason why this is important, as the young lady spoke to, we don't want to stop the local people from being able to make a living as they are doing now. But they also have to be cognizant of the safety concerns as well as the environmental issues. We can't just have unregulated access to our caves, our springs, our gullies, our water courses, because these have downstream, no pun intended, impacts on our water system.
The Barbados Revenue Authority has officially launched tax filing season, with personal income tax returns now available online through TAMIS. The deadline for submission is Wednesday, the 30th of April. Senior Manager Headquarters Services at the Authority, Carolyn Williams-Gale, is encouraging Barbadians to take advantage of the annual tax clinics, which started yesterday and will run until the 2nd of May.
We have tax clinics here at Queen's Park, again, all throughout the week, from Mondays to Saturdays, excluding bank holidays. On Saturdays, we will have, for the 4 Saturdays or 5 Saturdays, 4 Saturdays in April, we will have tax clinics at the resource centers in Rice St. Philip, Valley Resource Center, and Briar Hall, Christchurch, as well as at our office in Old Town. And for the last 2 Saturdays, we will have our Bridge Street Mall location open to assist persons there as well.
Ms. Williams-Gale is also urging taxpayers to double-check their information before filing. She wants them to confirm the accuracy of third-party information, such as income and deductions, as these directly impact tax returns.
Over the years, what we've seen some frequently occurring errors, and this is in relation to either incorrect banking information, whether they put in the wrong financial institution or the wrong account information. So we're asking persons to double check not even double check, but triple check their information to ensure that the information is accurate. If they're unsure about their account information or banking information, they should contact I'm strongly urging them to contact their financial institution to ensure that the information they have is accurate before they enter in the system and before they go to file. Additionally, there's on the front page of the return, there's information in relation to residency, and persons make an error there where they will select no instead of yes as relates to their residency for Barbados, and that creates delays in relation to persons getting their refunds.
That's a look at news right now. More news coming up on TV at 12 noon. Morning Barbados comes right back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Did you know that there is an acronym called PASS, which makes it very easy to use a fire extinguisher? P, which stands for pull the pin. A, which means aim at the base of the fire. S, squeeze the trigger. And another S, which means sweep from left to right. This allows you to effectively extinguish a fire.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
16 and a half minutes now after 7 o'clock as we turn our attention now to the ongoing work of the Barbados Reiki Association. They're having a holistic health fair coming up. When is it? Where is it? And why should you be there? We're talking about that right now as we're joined by Petra Bellamy, who's the president of the association. Good morning to you, Ms. Bellamy.
Good morning, and how are you?
I am doing well. Thank you for asking. How do you do?
I'm good, thank you.
How do you know?
How do I know?
Did you do Reiki on yourself?
I do, actually. As a matter of fact, I do. I do
You
every
can?
day. Yes, yes, you can.
Really?
Reiki is something that we all do. When you feel unwell, you put your hands where you feel unwell, and you feel warmth going through. Just do it. Just put your hands on your knees,
If it's my
and
knee.
you feel the warmth, don't you?
Yes, yes.
See?
It's
We always do it.
We've been doing it for so long then.
Yes, we don't even know.
So in other words, there's no reason to be afraid of it.
No, absolutely
At all.
not. Every mother that who embraces their child when they're upset and crying, that's what we do. We synchronize energies and we calm them down. We do calm down people, don't we?
Yes, we do. So it's in the practice of Reiki then, you're talking about identifying the energies and finding the solutions to that. And it's not necessarily invasive.
No, absolutely not. A hug is not invasive,
Not at all.
is it? And it can help.
Yeah. So turning quickly to other forms of medicine, here we now have another option to be able to respond to how we tackle those illnesses that we're experiencing, those challenges we're experiencing. But you're looking at doing it in a holistic way. When you say that, what are you talking about?
Holistic means basically I'm considering not just my meat body, I consider my emotions, I consider my mental state, I can consider all the stress that is coming towards me every day, and it needs balance. It's not just the knee that I have to consider. The knee might be hurting me because I'm overdoing it. I might go up and down the ladder every day and I'm overdoing it. So maybe I need a little bit of balance. I need to do other things and help the knee to heal. But it's not just the meat body. It's mind, soul, emotions, spiritual. Everything needs to be in balance.
It's a conscious effort.
Yes.
It is not to be assumed in any way. It's a conscious effort. And so you're having the holistic fair where we can come and engage in the many practices and modalities of Reiki. So could you give us a broad sense of who will be there and what will be there?
So what will be there? Massage therapists. You can have samples, like mini treatments, foot massage, reflexology, Indian head massage, any kind of massages we offer. So there are different therapists there. We do have herbalists, people who do herbal remedies. Quantum touch is another healing modality. There is a newer one, it's called Havening, and we offer that for the first time this year. We have a practice therapist there that is offering that. Many acupressure, trauma release, all kinds of holistic ways of dealing with things rather than just popping a pill.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I love the fact you just said about trauma relief, because we all experience trauma sometimes. In our own ignorance, we're not even aware that our bodies are responding to a trauma of some sort. And so when we come to the holistic fair, I'll use the word diagnosis. We get diagnosis, but we also get treatment as well. Am I right?
We don't do diagnosis.
Okay.
Holistic practitioners don't diagnose. That's something a doctor does.
Okay.
So we are not entitled to do so. We are not qualified to do but when somebody comes and says, you know, I have a constant headache, and somebody says, well, why don't you try Indian head massage? Maybe a massage of your head area or your neck area might help, because maybe there's so much tension from your stress, right? So from stress related gives us tension. Trauma gives us tension.
Yes.
Every time we experience something we are not in charge or we are not in control of, which is called a trauma, is creating tension in the body. So after a while we are uptight, headaches, yada yada yada.
Stomach ache. Is stomach ache part of the yada yada yada?
Yes.
No, because sometimes that's where it manifests itself.
Yes.
And so when that happens, the application of the Reiki and one of the Reiki practices can actually relieve one of the trauma that we're experiencing could be.
Yes, by relaxing the body, to tell the body, let go, it's okay. Let go of the trauma. But we need to relax for that. We cannot go on like the Energizer bunny that is constantly going. Eventually we will break down. So there has to be balance in everything. And not only Reiki is being used to do stress management. Like I said, some people prefer a massage. Other people like acupressure to release the tension in the muscles, or acupuncture. So everybody has different needs. So at the Holistic Health Fair, you have 50 people offering holistic things.
Wow. I was watching your hands. You did so you talked about.
Yes.
So even these kinds of things are things that help, that are practiced, that we can actually use to relieve the trauma and the pain and so forth.
Yes.
And so where is the fair going to be, the Holistic Fair?
The Holistic Health Fair is at Harrison College.
Harrison College?
Yes.
On Compton
Harrison
Street?
College. Yes.
And it's on what date?
Coming Sunday, the April the 6th.
This coming Sunday?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
yes.
We've got to start planning our time, folks. It's this coming Sunday. It's a fair with a different flair. It's at Harrison College from 9 in the morning till 5. Tickets are $10. You get tickets you can pay at the door.
Yes.
And you can get tickets from members as well.
Yes, we have members. I have tickets. Even participants, vendors have tickets to sell. So, yeah.
So if you're uncertain as to what Reiki is or how Reiki can help you, come to the fair. It's a fair with a different flair on Sunday. If you are sure that they can fix you, come to the fair with a different flair on Sunday from 9 in the morning right through to the afternoon. And if you are feeling that you're not quite right, come experience the different options.
Come and get education about the different things that you can do. Because like I said, we have 50 participants, from vendors to therapists. So go and see what might be useful to you, or learn. I mean, there are lectures or talks all day, interactive workshops all day. being offered besides all the fair. We have line dancing coming, and Tai Chi and meditation under the trees. There are so many things that you can experience, and maybe you will find your niche.
Yes, yes. Just maybe $10. $10 for
It's
all
worth-
of this.
It's worth the try.
You have got that right.
Yeah.
It's very worth the try. Just $10 and you're good to go to experience all of this and to find the relief point that you're looking for. Because there is relief, and Reiki is another option to help you find that spot of relief indeed.
Absolutely.
And so it's happening this coming Sunday on the grounds of Harrison College on Crumpton Street. Parking, because you know that's a funny road.
Yes, parking is at the,
On the compound.
on the compound.
So you can drive in and park at Harrison College, and then you go on to the
I mean, it
playfield.
might be full by the time you come.
Expect it to be. Yes, but from 9 o'clock in the morning right through. I suspect it's going to be a day out for some people as well. You know, you take your time and you get the answers that you're searching for, and to have the experiences that you're looking for as well, to find the relief that you're looking for. All of that you're looking for, you have to turn to Harrison College on Sunday. From 9 o'clock in the morning, the doors will be open. You can drive in, park on the compound, and you're engaging with over 50 practitioners in all sorts of other modalities. You have the workshops that you can engage with as well. There's music, it's just a full day of a fair with a flair on Sunday from 9 o'clock. I just love that phrase. You've got to forgive me. I'm using
And
it.
we have a food court.
And there's a food court?
Yes, absolutely, with healthy foods and healthy drinks and home-baked goodies.
Wow.
Something for everybody.
Totally so, indeed. And so you get to win great prizes as well. So pay at the door, or you can get a ticket from any of the members of the Barbados Reiki let me get it right, the Barbados Reiki Association, and you're good to go. You're good to go. Promises to be great relief for you as well. So let's make this happen on Sunday, folks. Sunday at Harrison College from 9 in the morning. Want to thank you so much for coming through, Miss Bellamy, indeed.
It was a pleasure.
All the best. Thank you. And all the best to yourself and your organization. And I really hope that this is a tremendous success, because there are too many of us walking around with trauma of the body and not recognizing that there are other treatment options. This fair allows us to be able to explore over 50 different treatment options.
Discover,
And
explore. Yes, absolutely.
Indeed.
It's a good opportunity. By the way, the fair has been going on for many, many years already. Just COVID threw us down.
I know they're back and they're good to go, indeed. Thank you so much, indeed. All the best always. You're welcome.
So much.
We're coming back with more in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hi, I'm Fire Officer 295 Turden, first Vice President of the Barbados Fire Service Sports and Social Club.
Hi, I'm Fire Officer Colligan, Secretary of the Barbados Fire Service Sports and Social Club. The Barbados Fire Service is celebrating 70 years. Come celebrate with us. The club, we are hosting football, cricket, and road tennis. Hope to see you there.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely, and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one else will know you called. They're there to offer a caring ear and guidance without judgment. And fellas, I want you to know asking for help is a true sign of strength. It takes real courage to reach out. You can also call Lifeline Barbados if you're worried about loved ones who are struggling and you need advice on how to support them. There's a saying, a problem shared.
There, the greatest thing was my exposure to music, and that's where actually the name Jazzy comes from. I was introduced to the saxophone by Joey Knight Lynch back then, and that fueled a passion for the jazz genre. And that's how eventually, because of my passion for it and speaking of it so much, the name Jazzy came about.
Okay, I'm told that you were one of her best students, as a matter of fact. That's debatable, right?
Debatable. Maybe not plain ways, but the other attributes that make you a good individual,
Yes.
I definitely possess those.
Nice,
skill sets,
nice
but
indeed. That's fantastic. And do you still get a chance to contribute to the school?
Currently, no, not actively, but I desire very much so to take back.
I shall take your name to the principal today.
For sure, no problem.
Sandra Goodrich is watching, so I'm going to take your name to the principal. Today's Careers Showcase Day, by the way.
Yeah.
And there's also a basketball match at in the afternoon.
Right.
Yeah,
I
so-
heard of that, sitting waiting for my opportunities.
So you heard all that.
excited for
Good man.
Yes, please.
So happy to inform you of all these things. And good to meet a fellow from CP.
For sure.
All right. So today you were talking about this unlifted method. I have never heard of this, I
Yeah.
confess. So what is it?
This is a mindset method developed by co-founder Mark England, and it focuses on how we use our language and how language influences our internal and external dialogue, and as a result, it impacts our imagination, what mental imagery we have, our feelings and emotions, and the way we breathe and how we feel within our body, simultaneously and unconsciously for most.
So it's just about how, as you said, how we use our language.
Our internal and external dialogue, yes.
Internal and external. And when you say internal, you talk how I speak to myself.
Your self-talk.
And then how I speak to other
and
people.
how you communicate with others, yes, please.
And this is a method that can be used in any environment.
In all environments for every individual. As long as you can write and speak the language that you use effectively, then you have ways to use your language to create more of what you want and less of what you don't want.
So as long as you can write and speak the language that you use, that's
Yes,
what you
please.
said. Some of us don't necessarily always have the best facility with language.
For sure, many of us are unwritten. We are unwritten. We don't often write what we say, and we tend to think faster than we can speak, obviously, and we speak faster than we can write. And one sure way to reduce the inflammation of our mental wellness is to slow down our thought process, and we can definitely do that by committing our words to paper.
And so in applying this method, we're able to adjust our responses
Very
and
much
our
so.
environment.
Very much so.
So walk us through bit by bit. Now we're talking HR. When you say
Yes,
HR, you're thinking company, businesses, those
For
kinds
sure.
of things. So how can the unlifted method work in a work environment?
Well, what we want to have happening more in our workplaces is more collaboration and less conflict. And to have more collaboration, we need to find ways to communicate effectively. And to do that, we must have control over our word choices so that we can explicitly express what we want to have going on, and so that we can lead as opposed to just give instruction.
Okay, so we can lead and not just give instruction.
For sure.
You're telling me to paint word pictures.
Well, we always do. Whether you are consciously aware of it or not, every time you speak, there's a mental imagery that is happening. That mental imagery will have an effect on your emotions, like I said earlier, and your breathing and how you feel within your body. If you were to get a call immediately that says you won last night, Super
My
Lotto,
breathing changes
your
immediately. you're right.
breathing changes immediately. The mental imagery that you have about the possibilities of what you can do with this sum of money, how you feel within your body definitely changes. It happens
By certain words
instantaneously.
triggering certain responses.
Certain words triggering
And so this
responses, yes.
unlifted method causes us to pause for just a moment and
For
think
sure.
about what we say to ourselves and
For
what we
sure.
say to other people.
Very much
so. If
so.
we want to have positive outcomes in our work environment,
Yes, sir.
then we need to be watching what we say and how we say what we say.
It would help.
It would help.
It's an option. You don't have to. Many of us don't. But to have much more control over our well-being and our thought process, then it helps that we focus on how we use our words effectively.
Right. So, and we're not asking people to lie.
No, we're not.
We're asking you to watch how you assess what's going on and then how you respond to what's going on
Very much so.
through words.
Very much so.
And because words do have power.
Significantly so.
So in the work environment, we're hearing all the time, I can't take this place anymore.
For real. And what that does is it paints a image of all the worst case scenarios that can possibly happen. What we would encourage individuals to do is to be mindful of your word choice and reframe that statement into one that is much more accurate, because there's truth and then there's accuracy. You may not be enjoying the present experience, but you don't necessarily hate being where you currently are. You're just not enjoying the moment of what you're experiencing. So what we're asking individuals to do is just slow down our thought process and our rate of speech.
That's how I feel.
It's how you feel within the moment, yes, and it wouldn't deny your emotional response to anything, but how long would you prefer to stay in the state of not being happy in the moment?
It really makes no sense dwelling in the unhappy state.
For sure.
So if we want to change that state, perhaps we need to take a look at how we say what we say, because words have meaning and have power.
What we say and how we say is having an impact on you, for better or for worse, whether you are consciously aware of it or not.
So if the individual says, I can't take this place anymore,
yes,
what's your suggested way of adjusting that approach so that we can get a more positive outcome?
Well, we, in the unlifted method, we define words like I can't and probably and, you know, all of those types of words as soft talk. So what we would do, I have a list here that I can share with you.
Sure. So is this an exhaustive, extensive list?
It's not. It's part of a system created by Mark England where we try to reduce the use of these specific keywords. Right. And we refrain the I can't to what can you do?
You can.
Correct.
My man, you're on my topic here now. So this is called Soft Talk Challenge.
Yes, please.
So instead of saying, and one of the things I often say when I'm having a meeting is the word no does not exist.
Well,
my question always is, how can we? Because when you, for me, when you set the construct, if I can think it is possible.
Very much so.
And so when you set yourself into the construct of saying no, then right away you're shutting yourself down from the possibilities.
Correct. We need to reimagine what's possible. We need to give ourselves options. If you are saying I can't, you have decided that there are no other possibilities. Correct. And what outcomes can you experience when you have denied yourself the possibility of looking at options?
So looking at this soft talk challenge, what's this about?
Well, like I said, we're asking individuals to be mindful of their word choices and to see over a 7-day period how often you use these specific keywords.
Okay. Like probably, perhaps, feels like, guess, maybe, could, might, possibly. And all of these...
they're part of our everyday language, and they tend to lessen the impact of your ability to take action. For instance, if I ask you where we want to go this evening, and you say, I probably want to go at Chafet, and that's not as assertive as it could be. I want to go to Chafet. I want to go to dinner at Champers for whatever reason. It helps so that we take mindful awareness of what we're saying so that we can be much more positive when we want to take action going forward.
Yeah. So know what you want. Say what you mean.
Pretty much.
And be open and honest and straightforward.
For sure.
And in doing so, you create the space for that organization to thrive, because now I know exactly what Charles is thinking. Charles has expressed it to me, not in threatening words.
Correct.
But he's talking to me about how he feels, and he's sharing with me what's possible, because he's expressed it in such a way that we can have a conversation and find a solution to what's going on.
And there's more clarity, and no one is guessing what the other person is saying or meaning, because I've explicitly expressed using my word choice what I want you to understand with me.
So these words on this list that you've shared with me, I've called some of them out just a moment ago, are words that we need to consider not using.
Not necessarily not using, but using less when we want to be more assertive in the way we communicate with others.
So the words that if you find yourself using these kinds of words, probably, perhaps, feels like, I guess, maybe, could, might, possibly, sort of, kind of, potentially, hopefully, try, one day, should, or almost like, then you're creating yourself a little bit of a challenge. And so we're saying, take a look at these kinds of words again in the workplace and see whether or not we could find more assertive words, not rude words, but assertive words to get across our message. So take the challenge for us. And this is a big challenge. This for a lot of people is extremely difficult.
Yeah, it is. Many people find it challenging even to reduce the use of should. But if we have a
because y'all should do this and y'all should that.
Correct. We have a translation that goes where we ask people to remove the should to could and the could to can, and we add a because statement, and that in itself, changes the impact of what you really want to do.
We told me no use perhaps. I would say perhaps to dream just a little while. So perhaps we could consider, that's me.
Yes, please.
And you're suggesting that I should do less of that?
Yeah, if it is not producing ideally what you want to experience. Because if you use perhaps and the individual who's on the listening end of what you're saying is not clear, then we are not
always
having
seek clarity.
For sure.
For clarity.
Yes, please.
You talked about using the storytelling.
Oh, for sure.
What's that about?
Storytelling. So all of our experiences are stored in our mind as stories. Experiences of the past, experiences of the present, and the way we tell ourselves that story is impacting how we experience all of our future and present day experiences. So you know someone right now who you can think about who has a negative story that they're always ready to tell you, something that has occurred to them in the past, which is still inflaming how they experience themselves today, relationship that didn't go well, and that story stored in the mind, unedited, and being told with inflammatory language is forcing that individual to be less than joyful. It shows on their face. The moment that they get the opportunity to tell it, you can see how it changes how they're experiencing themselves. So we're asking individuals to be mindful of those stories, to be mindful of your experiences, and to use your words much more effectively. And for those ones that are painful and frustrating, find a way to reframe them, not necessarily to change, what has occurred, but to change the impact of what has occurred, so that you no longer stay stuck thinking about what you can no longer impact because it's already occurred, but you're reducing your emotional intensity and how you allow it to impact you today.
A little later on, we'll take a look at emotional intelligence as well, and naming how we feel. And so this is all about, because you're going to find yourself stuck in a horrible place if you just don't know how to let go.
For sure.
Basically.
Very much
and
so.
when you repeat that narrative over and over to yourself and to others,
correct,
it has an impact on the organization. You remember 5 years ago, and so you begin to almost put that on the new individual who's joined the organization. Suddenly they have a totally different view of the place that they find themselves in, because you've shared all of your negatives.
Correct.
And we're saying, you're suggesting today through the unlifted method that we watch our words,
for sure,
reframe how we tell our stories, because sometimes your reality is not my reality.
Very much
and you have a way of changing your reality if you pay attention to how you tell your story.
And we are suggesting that if you can slow down your rate of speech, and if you can breathe better, then you can have much more control over how things impact you mentally and emotionally.
How does the unlifted method affect leadership?
Well, many people in positions of leadership usually find themselves experiencing stress and burnout. And once again, it's coming down to the stories that they're telling themselves about what they're currently experiencing. If your leaders are consistently stressed and burnout, then that has an impact on the culture and those who are, within their leadership. And it shows in the way they communicate. It shows in the way they show up for work. And we want to reduce, the emotional intensity of their experience of themselves as a leader, so that they can, be more mindful and actually lead and not just give instructions.
What benefits have you, Charles, derived from this unlifted method?
I was introduced to this about 3 years ago, and it reaffirmed some beliefs that I had about, how you can improve your well-being, how you can evolve as an individual. It helps me to have a better conversation with people. One of the things I want to do, or I try to do a lot using the self-talk trade, is to shift perspectives. Let's give people new perspectives so that they no longer stay in unhappy states. What else is possible about the situation that you're going through? And that's how I use it. I use it to, give people opportunities, to see other perspectives.
It reduces your stress. It reduces the stress for the company as well, the individual, the spaces which we work. No one wants to work around a negative person. So if you begin to reshape the narrative around yourself and around the organization to one that's positive, we all enjoy the space and we enjoy coming to work. It empowers leadership, because for a second now you can stop seeing yourself as inadequate and see yourself as potentially good. And so it adjusts how you deal with your colleagues and yourself, and it reduces that toxicity in the workplace as well.
For sure. language, as we've been taught in school, comes down to definitions and grammar and punctuation. But, as I've shown over the last couple of minutes, language is so much more than just words. And the impact of the words is forcing you to experience yourself either joyfully or less joyfully. And it will help if you want to enjoy the experience of yourself more, that you pay attention to the things that are impacting how you enjoy yourself. And your word choice significantly does that.
So we can approach this from as we will have to, from the individual perspective.
For sure.
And then it translates into the company as part of their culture as well.
Very
and
much
so for anyone who wants to contact you or Hermab, I guess, to talk more about the unlifted method, how can we do so?
Well, I can share my contact information. Sure. Hermab, they have my contact information as well.
So reach out to Hermab.
Yeah, and I'm very much willing to, create workshops and more education about this subject matter, because it wasn't part of our traditional way of being taught. So you can be a 50, 60-year-old and never know that this is happening, but it is indeed happening.
Charles Jazzy Harper, he's a barber, but he's also a coach of the Unlifted Method, and certainly we want to thank you so much for joining us on our session.
Yeah, thank you for having me here.
You're very welcome.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Here I am. My fault. Guilty as charged. Right, we still have a riddle to be solved, indeed, and I'm hoping that you can help me do so before the end of the show today, so get ready for that coming up. But on the weekend, if you're in the parish of St. Thomas for their marquee event at the Project House in Sturgis, then you know you were there for roots and roast, enjoying the connection between nature and flavor. And so it was quite an occasion for those who attended, and so I want to give you a taste of what people experienced when they were there. So take a look and enjoy it as well.
Sorrow Path.
My name is Dr. Love. I can mend your broken heart. Replace the brave smile. Call on me when you need some love. My number's 6609.
Just a taste of roots and roast in St. Thomas last weekend. We'll take a break here on Morning Barbados. We're coming right back after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one else will know you called. They're there to offer a caring ear and guidance without judgment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Listen, you guys have been fantastic today. Remember, there's a question still outstanding for you to respond to correctly, and we're hoping that you can do so tomorrow. Remember, the question is, what is the one thing that you can all agree is between heaven and earth? What's that one thing that's we can all agree is between heaven and earth? Think about it and get ready to give me a call tomorrow morning, bright and early, on Mornin Barbados. You have been tremendous as always. We want to encourage you to share the show. Most of all, tell someone else about us. Let them come along to watch with you on a morning, Monday to Friday on 6 o'clock here on CBC TV8. Also on our streams on Facebook, our YouTube page, and our website, cbc.bb. So in other words, do not keep this to yourself. It is really too good a treasure to retain to yourself alone. So do tell others about us and come join us indeed. So to all of you today, as we get ready for Q in the community tomorrow, we want to wish you a lovely day. Stay tuned to the radio stations of the CBC to know where Q will be tomorrow. And I'm guarantee you're going to have a fun time. But most of all, tomorrow morning, join us at 6 o'clock for Morning Barbados. Our little crew says to each of you, thank you. We look forward to seeing you then. Until, bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning.